And this definitely has not been an easy time, but it's been a good time.
Back in his home state of Michigan, Republican Bill Huizenga owns a gravel company and served as a state legislator. Now, 3 months into his first term in Congress, he says life in Washington is a whole new ballgame.
To use a baseball analogy, they're pitching at your head. I mean, they're coming at you. It's a big stage, and things are moving very, very fast.
How fast? In its first 100 days, the freshman class has navigated a national tragedy, military intervention in Libya, and narrowly averted a government shutdown. Just days after taking their oaths of office, and while many were still learning the Capitol's maze of tunnels, a gunman opened fire at a Tucson, Arizona shopping center, killing 6 and wounding a fellow member of Congress, Gabrielle Giffords. When you heard this, you're a freshman. Did you think, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into?
My first reaction was pure shock. The fact that we had just been sworn in, that there is so much hope and optimism about this Congress and the awesome responsibility that we all share.
Many on Capitol Hill hoped the tragedy would usher in a new era of bipartisanship and civility.
I think the tone changed for about 2 weeks. And then I think after that, we went back to the partisanship.
Karen Bass, who went from Speaker of the California House to the lone Democratic freshman on the Budget Committee, says the feelings of unity after the Tucson shooting are long gone.
The Tea Party on your side, as so often is the case.
Efforts to tone down the rhetoric soon ran headfirst into a bitter fight over federal spending.
We're not there yet.
I think that that's part of the combat that takes place in a legislative process.
This is my life. This is my schedule.
Florida's Alan West, an Iraq War veteran, walks the halls of Congress with his trademark military satchel. He campaigned on the GOP's Pledge to America, which included a promise of $100 billion in spending cuts this year. When the Republican leadership wavered on that amount, West and many of his Tea Party compatriots demanded it stand firm.
You can't, right out the gate lose your credibility, and I think that they understood that because we really need the American people to know that they sent the right people up here to start taking care of the business of spending in Washington, D.C.
Shame on a Senate who said we will not take up the bill.
The 87 new Republicans kept the pressure on, rallying on the Senate steps almost every day leading up to last Friday's spending deal.
That's why this place is open today.
With that battle behind them, they've turned to next year's budget, voicing their support for a plan that would cut taxes and drastically reform Medicare.
This is probably one of the most engaged budgets that has been produced by the House, at least in the last decade. And I'm proud of that.
And what about the Mighty Nine, as the small group of Democratic freshmen call themselves?
It's a frustrating process.
They've had to face the reality of having considerably less clout than their conservative classmates.
I sort of expected when I got here, everyone would be focused on jobs, and that the jobs agenda would be articulated by our Republican leadership in the House. There's been no jobs bill, no jobs agenda. We did NPR, we did Planned Parenthood, we did virtually everything but talk about jobs in the Congress of the United States.
And while some Democrats may think they have no clout, Speaker Boehner needed dozens of them today to pass the budget compromise. That's because 59 Republicans, including freshman West and Huizenga, voted no because the cuts were not big enough.